This is Scott Conway with mothersraisingsons.com. This is the seventh lesson in our Bully Proofing Your Child series. Now, this is something that is important not just for your child, but for all children. Is there seems to be something magical about the number 3. That when children feel like they have trusted adults they can go to, trusted adults that will empathize with them, then they feel like they're in a safe place. They feel like they have help. When they only have 1 or 2, and obviously if they have 0, very often children feel like they don't have anyone to talk to because they only have 1 or 2. And to a child, very often that feels like nobody, or I have no friends. And it's like, well, what about Sally? What about Jim? It's like, well, but they're the only ones. But it seems to be something about having 3. Having 3 friends, having 3 trusted adults to talk to that makes children feel safe. And that begins with 1. So if you're the mom, one of the things you can do is be a safe person for your child to talk to. You can have these armoring techniques for the detachment. You could have the disassociation technique to disconnect from it. But when you first talk to your child, you want to begin with empathy. So you're going to solve the problem because you love your child. You want to help your child by solving your child's problem. But the first thing you want to do is connect with your child, to honor and respect your child. That your child feels what your child feels, and to your kid, this is very real. Now, all of us know when we're going through intense emotion that even if later on we think, well, obviously I was overreacting, yeah, that was ridiculous, when we're in that moment, that is reality to us. That is what we are experiencing. And so, you never tell someone, oh, you're overreacting, forget about it. That you start off listening. You connect right where they are. You let them explain where they are. And very often, once they get through that storm, once they talk through to the other end of the storm's done on the other side. Now, some people start looping around inside. They're kind of staying there. And so somewhere along the line, you're going to want to get in there and talk to your child. But even then, you still honor the way your child feels. And you may tell your child somewhere in there, I understand how you feel. Let's disconnect from this a little bit so we can have a better discussion. So are you ready to do the detachment that I taught you? Are you ready to do the disassociation that I taught you? Are you ready to disconnect from some of this? We'll put it over there. So let's take this emotion, let's put it over there. So imagine a situation, let's push it back to a movie screen. Let's take a look at it. Let's push it a little bit further away. Let's make it a little bit smaller so we can talk about it. And now mommy can help you with it. Because mommy loves you. I want to make it better for you. So let mommy help you. Because I love you and I believe in you and I know we can do this. So is that okay with you if mommy helps you with this? And very often, of course, you'll get your child's agreement. Now, sometimes there'll be the wailing and gnashing of teeth on things, and you just have to kind of ride that out. And tell them, like, okay, well, when you're ready to talk, I'm here for you. You may want to stick with your child, depending how long the time goes on. Now, be careful about how your child sort of runs the circle, kind of releasing it. My basic rule is 1 time around the whole story, we're venting, we're letting it out. By the 2nd time around the story, I'm listening to hear, okay, is there any shift, any change in perspective? Or are we just looping the exact same thing again? Now, by the 3rd time around, if nothing's changing, now I'm going to try to derail this loop. Because every time your kid goes around the story, and this is true for us as adults too, every time we go around the story, all we're doing is we're reliving the negative pain. And what we want to do is ultimately be able to work our way into the solution. So we have the problem. So the 2nd time around, what's good is now you start defining it better as a problem, not just how you're feeling. Something that you can solve, something you can do something about, something at least you could try to understand better. And by the 3rd time around, and usually, I like it by the 2nd time, but, usually I'll let it go around a couple of times. By the 3rd time around, now I'm beginning to look for, okay, what can we do about some of these pieces? Even if it's a simple thing as, well, let's apply the disassociation technique and let's look at this. Let's think about it. And that way, we don't get lost in the pain. We don't get lost in the rage. We don't get lost in the fear, whatever it was that the emotion was that arose because of what happened. And so by making sure that at least we are one of those trusted people, and so that our child can begin to learn that they can have trusted adults, and try to be a trusted adult for your kids' friends, for your friends' kids, so that we can get to that magical 3 number. And especially for single parents where you might be the one, and you really kind of need to find 2 more that you trust your child trusting. and try to build up to that magical number. And when you have that, your child will feel safe. Your child will feel like there's always people to go to and not just no one. And it can be tough on a parent, and a mom in particular sometimes, when your child feels like there's no one, when you want nothing more to do than to be there for your child. And just understand there's some psychological thing about that magical number 3, that for your child to really feel he has someone to talk to, you're looking for 3 people. And you can help your child find the other 2 people, and obviously be one to connect with and empathize with your child, and then of course help your child solve the problem. This is Scott Conway, PhD, JD, Mothers Raising Sons, wrapping up now the Bully Proofing Your Child series.